I want to talk about something today that's been on my heart for a long time. And it's a little heavier than usual, but I think it's important, so stay with me. I want to talk about why so many of our families never built up the kind of wealth that gets passed down, why so many of us started from behind, and more importantly, what we can actually do about it now. Because I'll tell you, for a long time, I carried a quiet kind of shame about money. Like maybe my family just didn't do something right. Maybe we weren't smart enough or disciplined enough. And then I got older and I started learning my history, really learning it. And I realized it was never that simple. There were reasons, real reasons. And once I understood them, that shame turned into something else. It turned into determination. So let me share some of what I learned because I think it'll set some of you free the way it set me free. Now, think about how wealth actually gets built in a family. It's not usually one person striking it rich, it's a little bit at a time passed down. A house that gets paid off and handed to the children, a piece of land, a business, a little savings that grows over generations. The grandparents build something, the parents add to it, the children inherit it and build some more. That's how families get ahead over time, slow and steady, generation after generation. But here's the thing, for that to work, you need a starting point. And for a long, long time in this country, our families were blocked from getting that starting point, not because of anything we did, because of how things were set up. Go all the way back. For generations, our people weren't even allowed to own anything. They were treated as property themselves. So there was no wealth being built, no land, no inheritance, nothing to pass down. We started this whole race with nothing, generations behind everybody else, through no fault of our own. And then even after that, when our people were finally free, the deck stayed stacked. A lot of folks ended up sharecropping, working somebody else's land, and somehow always ending up owing more than they earned, always behind, never able to get ahead enough to buy their own piece of something. And when Black families did manage to build something, and they did all over this country, sometimes it got taken or destroyed. You may have heard of Black Wall Street in Tulsa. A whole thriving Black community, businesses, homes, wealth, burned to the ground in 1921. All that wealth gone in a couple of days. And that wasn't the only place that happened. Then you get into things that are more recent, things that touched our own parents and grandparents. There was a practice called redlining. What that meant was the government and the banks literally drew red lines around Black neighborhoods on maps and said, we won't give loans here. So even if you had a good job and you saved your money, you couldn't get a mortgage to buy a home in a lot of places. And owning a home is the number one way most families in America built wealth. We got locked out of the main door. And here's one that really got me when I learned it. After World War II, there was something called the GI Bill that helped soldiers coming home buy houses and go to college. It built the whole middle class in this country. But the way it was set up and carried out, a whole lot of Black veterans, men who served this country, who fought for it, couldn't actually use those benefits the way white veterans could. The banks wouldn't lend to them, the schools wouldn't take them, so that big leg up that lifted millions of families into the middle class, our families mostly got left out of it. I could go on, there's more. But I think you see the pattern. It wasn't that our families didn't work hard. Lord knows we worked hard. It wasn't that we weren't smart with money. It's that at every turn, when it came time to actually build and keep and pass down wealth, there was a barrier put in the way. So if your family didn't have much to pass down to you, I want you to let go of any shame about that right now, today. It was never a personal failing. You came from people who were running a race with weights tied to their ankles, and the fact that they survived it and got you here at all is a testament to their strength. Now, I didn't make this video to leave you feeling heavy. I made it because understanding the past is what frees you to do something different going forward. So let's talk about how we catch up, because we can. And it starts with us right now. First thing, if you own your home, that is one of the most powerful things you can pass down. So protect it. Make sure it's paid off if you can. And make sure, this is so important, make sure you have a will or a trust so that home passes cleanly to your children. I have seen too many families lose the family home because grandmama passed without any paperwork in place and the whole thing turned into a mess. Don't let that be your family. The house only builds your family's wealth if it actually makes it to the next generation. Get your paperwork in order. Second, life insurance. For a lot of our families, a life insurance policy is the first real inheritance anybody ever leaves. It's a way to pass down a chunk of money to your children, even if you didn't have much during your life. It's how you make sure your passing is a blessing to your family and not a financial burden. Look into it. Third, and maybe most important of all, teach the children, teach the grandchildren. So much of what wealthier families pass down isn't just money, it's knowledge. How credit works, how to save, how to invest, how not to fall for the traps. A lot of us never got taught those things because our parents never got taught them either. The chain got broken. Well, you can be the one who fixes it. You can be the one who sits your grandbabies down and teaches them what took you a lifetime to learn. That knowledge is worth more than any inheritance. Fourth, even if it's small, start putting something away that grows. I'm not talking about getting rich quick or any of that nonsense. I'm talking about the slow, boring, steady building that actually works. A little bit consistently over time, and teach your family to do the same. Wealth in a family is a relay race. You don't have to finish it. You just have to carry the baton a little further than it was carried to you and then hand it off. And fifth, keep what's yours in the family. If your family has land, hold on to it. Don't let somebody talk grandmama into selling the family land for pennies. If there's property, keep it. So many Black families lost land that had been in the family for generations because of legal tricks and pressure and not having the right paperwork. What your family fought to get, fight to keep. Here's what I've come to believe. We can't change what happened to the generations before us. We can't go back and undo the redlining or give our grandparents the chances they were denied. But we can decide that the line stops being held back with us. We can be the generation that finally starts building something that lasts, that finally gets the paperwork right, that finally teaches the children, that finally hands down more than we received. It doesn't matter how small you're starting. What matters is that you start and that you build something, even something little, that outlives you. That's how we catch up, not all at once, but brick by brick, generation by generation, the same way it was always meant to be done. We just get to start now. You come from people who survived the impossible so that you could be here. The best way to honor them is to build the thing they were never allowed to build, and to make sure your grandchildren inherit a little more ground to stand on than you did. That's what I've got for you today. This one means a lot to me, so please share it with your family, especially the young ones. They need to hear this. And leave me a comment. Tell me one thing you want to pass down to the next generation, whether it's money, knowledge, or just a lesson. I want to hear it. I'll see you next time. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.